It started with something small. One morning, a man opened his front door and noticed a tiny object sitting on his porch. A button, old, scratched, and completely out of place. He looked around, confused. Then he noticed something else, a black crow sitting quietly on the railing, watching him. At the time, it didn't seem important, but that button was only the beginning. The next morning, the crow returned. This time, it dropped something different, a small coin. It landed on the wooden porch with a sharp metallic sound. The man stepped outside again. The crow didn't fly away. Instead, it stayed there, watching him, almost as if it was waiting for his reaction. Over the next few days, the objects kept appearing. A screw, a bottle cap, a piece of broken metal. At first, the man thought the crow was simply attracted to shiny things, but something about the situation felt strange. The crow always arrived at the same time, and every time it dropped an object, it stayed nearby, watching. Soon, the man started placing the objects on a small table inside his house. It became a strange little collection. Coins, buttons, bits of metal. Every morning, the crow added something new. Neighbors started noticing the bird too. They joked about it. Some said the crow was paying him back for the food he occasionally left outside. Others said crows were known for collecting shiny objects. But the man began noticing something different. The crow wasn't just dropping random things. It seemed deliberate. Sometimes it would bring something, then look directly at him, tilt its head, and wait, as if trying to communicate something. Still, weeks passed with no explanation, until one morning, everything changed. That morning, the crow arrived earlier than usual. The man watched from the window. The bird landed on the porch railing. Then it dropped something heavier than usual, a key. The metal clink echoed across the wood. The man stepped outside and picked it up. It wasn't an ordinary key. Attached to it was a small plastic tag, and printed on that tag was a name. He stared at it for a moment. The name felt familiar. Later that day, the man took a picture of the key and posted it online in a local community group. He simply asked a question: "Does anyone recognize this?" At first, nothing happened, but a few hours later, someone replied. The name on the tag belonged to a man who lived a few streets away, and something about that name worried people, because that neighbor had been missing for days. Search teams had already looked through nearby streets and houses, but nobody had found him. When the key was shown to the authorities, they recognized it immediately. It belonged to a small storage shed behind the missing man's property. When they opened the shed, they found him inside, alive, but weak and dehydrated. He had been accidentally locked in after the door jammed, and he had been trapped there for days. But there was one detail nobody could explain. The shed was surrounded by trees, and crows had been gathering there. The crow that visited the porch had likely been picking up objects from around that area. Metal scraps, coins, pieces of trash, and eventually, the key. But instead of dropping it randomly somewhere, the crow kept bringing the objects to the same house, over and over, until finally someone noticed, until finally someone asked questions, and that small moment changed everything. Crows are among the most intelligent birds in the world. They can recognize human faces, they remember kindness, and they communicate in ways we're only beginning to understand. Maybe the crow didn't know exactly what it was doing, but somehow it knew something wasn't right, and it kept trying until someone finally listened. Sometimes the most unexpected heroes don't speak our language at all.